Oh, excuse me. Oh, must have had something that just doesn't agree with me. Oh, no. Let's get on with it, shall we? Here are 19 reasons to read Dreamcatcher. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram, and this is the place where I take you through the works of Stephen King and give you 19 reasons to read all of his books. Why 19 instead of 10? Well, once you've read a few Stephen King, you will know the answer to that question. If all that sounds like something you would like more of, do stick around, have a look at the rest of my channel, and feel free to subscribe as well so you don't miss any videos in the future. In this video, we're looking at King's first fiction novel of the noughts, the wild ride that is Dreamcatcher, that is not only a wild story, but also has this quite crazy front cover for its Hungarian edition. Anyway, I'm going to give you 19 reasons to read this one, and as always, any spoilers are clustered together at the end, and I'll give you fair warning in case you need to bail before we get to them. So, if you're ready, I'm ready, let's go. So this book, while far from being his best, was a really important one for King because it's the first one he wrote from start to finish while in recovery from being hit by a minivan, an accident that almost cost him his life and certainly left him in a lot of pain. This was King learning how to write again effectively, and such is the talent and the productivity of the man that he ended up with this doorstopper of a novel. Not only that, he wrote Dreamcatcher longhand. It was too painful for him to sit at his computer and type, so he scrawled this tale out by hand in a series of notebooks. Imagine how sore his hand would have been after that. While we're talking pain, painful hand probably wasn't the only thing affecting King, given that he was recovering from that horrendous accident. And, well, because of that, he was stoned off his tits on the prescription painkiller OxyContin while writing Dreamcatcher, which explains two things. First of all, it explains why this story is kind of a hot mess, and two, it also explains why OxyContin gets a mention in just about every book Stephen King has written from this point. So, guess what the working title of Dreamcatcher was? No? It was Cancer. Yep. Cancer. That kind of shows you where King's head was at when he was writing this, doesn't it? Fortunately, his wife Tabitha convinced him that maybe Cancer wasn't the best title for this book. So this may sound like a strange reason to read this book, but Dreamcatcher regularly features in those worst Stephen King book lists. You can check out my own worst top 10. Is that a worst top 10? Is that a bottom 10? You can check out my own. Fucking tractor. You can check out my own least favourite 10 books right here. I've probably already pointed to it, but I've totally lost track of where I am now because of that fucking tractor. Anyway, I always find it fascinating looking into the bad works of masters of their craft. So, for example, loads of people hate Saint Anger by Metallica. Not me, I fucking love it. Now, Dreamcatcher is very curious because it's not as good as Saint Anger. It's not very good at all, really, but it's still fascinating to see somebody so talented produce something that doesn't quite hit the mark, because there are parts in this that are exceptional, but there's a lot that really isn't. King himself even told Rolling Stone magazine in 2014 that Dreamcatcher is a bad novel, and for me, that just makes me even more curious to read it. So as I said, the thing is with Dreamcatcher is that it's not all terrible. There's some really poignant bits. There's some really scary shit in there as well. But as an entire piece, it just comes across as feeling too much like an unhinged fever dream that is just lacking in direction and editing, really. Which is probably what happened, let's be fair. Also, there is a lot of shit. And I don't use shit to mean bad stuff here. I mean actual excrement shit. So, what's the hook of Dreamcatcher? Well, you better make sure you're comfortable. In a word, it's aliens. Aliens in Maine. Our four lead characters are four old friends from that lovely town of Derry, Maine, and they're taking their annual trip up to the woods to go hunting. And, well, all four of them are fucked up in some way. One of them is depressed, one of them's an alcoholic, one of them has realised that he's never going to be loved by anyone, and the other one is recovering from being hit by a car. Wonder where King got the idea for that bit from. Anyway, just as you're set up to have this poignant drama about friends reconnecting and overcoming their adversities, aliens take over. Aliens who take over in the form of shit weasels. Let's stick with me. Shit weasels that are little weasels that grow in a human's rectum, are then shat out into the toilet, and then proceed to turn round and, well, kill the human that just shat them out. Usually by biting their genitals off and then working their way up their body to their face. Alongside that, there's loads of exploding aliens that turn into red Byram that can then spread themselves. You've also got aliens that take the traditional grey face form, and well, it all gets very, very complicated, and the army steps in, they try and wipe out the aliens, and then we're on this chase to try and stop the last alien getting to Boston's water supply and infecting it with a load more shit weasels and causing a fuck load of misery. Are you confused? Yes, me too, and I've read the book twice. So, to calm us down after the last point, I mentioned earlier there are some really good bits in Dreamcatcher, and the way King draws the relationship between the four main characters is excellent. It feels really genuine, really well lived in, and it feels like those kind of friendships in real life. You know, the ones where you can just pick up with someone and carry on as if the last time you saw them was yesterday, even if it was 3 years ago. That's what it's like when you drop in with our main four in Dreamcatcher. And that is testament to King's talent as a writer. Also, the view of Jonesy, one of the main character, his brain being this basically archive library of memories and incidents, I thought was really, really effective. But, I mean, shit weasels? Okay, this is where we go into spoilers, so if you need to bail, please bail, and I will see you again soon. Okay, so surprisingly early in the book, 2 of the 4 main characters get murdered. Quite brutally murdered too. It's a bold move, and if you're here for the gore, you will fucking love it. So there is a 5th character, a 5th friend I've not mentioned yet. A character by the name of Duddits. A character who has learning difficulties, and as is usually the way with King when he writes characters with learning disabilities, obviously he's got all of the magic in him. It's not a good portrayal of that type of character. It's an unnecessary portrayal of that kind of character. To be honest, I'm pretty surprised King didn't double down and make Duddits black as well to make him super magical, and yeah, I just don't like it. I mentioned Derry earlier, and Dreamcatcher is a sort of Derry story, I guess. Our main characters are from Derry, and at one point they go back to Derry, and we even discover a plaque that has been left by the original Losers Club and has been daubed with some ominous graffiti that simply says, "Pennywise lives." As you would expect, the number 19 pops up a few times here. Duddits lived at 19 Maple Lane as a child, and the high school jock who bullied Duddits and tried to make him eat literal dog shit wore number 19 when playing football. Another fun fact, as an adult, Duddits lives on Dearborn Street, and of course, Will Dearborn was the pseudonym of Roland in Wizard and Glass. So the accident that King was in is clearly affecting his own brain and clearly influencing the writing of this one. There's so much of this story that focuses on the frailty of the human body and the many horrible, painful ways in which it can be battered and ultimately broken. And when you focus on those elements of the story, it's a quite fascinating insight into the mind of somebody who very, very recently had a very, very close shave with the Grim Reaper. But alongside that, you then have many numbers of pages of Jonesy being possessed by an alien who just wants to eat raw bacon and then ends up vomiting it everywhere. Swings and roundabouts, I guess. So finally, this one is worth reading because even though it's a mess and it is laced with medicinal dope throughout, it just shows, again, what an amazing storyteller Stephen King is, even in those difficult circumstances. He hooks you in really quickly, and holds your hand through hundreds and hundreds of pages of crazy story and shit weasels, and you still want to know what happened, even if by the end of it you'll probably sit back and go, that wasn't very good. Okay, there we go, 19 reasons to read Dreamcatcher. Let me know what you think of this batshit crazy book in the comments below. Let me know if you like it, let me know if you don't like it, and let me know what you think of those shit weasels. If you enjoyed this video, there's plenty more here on my channel. Do click around, I've covered loads of books and a few specials as well. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any in the future, do hit subscribe and then you will be sorted. And if you want to come and chat King, Dreamcatcher, shit weasels, pop on over to Instagram. I'm at Dave Musson and always happy to have a little palaver with you. That's it for now. I'll see you soon. Take care.